In a recent Republican debate, Ron Paul was challenged on his foreign policy stance, specifically an article he wrote for the 10th anniversary of 9/11. The article in question was called "Ask the Right Questions and Face the Truth." In it, Dr. Paul illuminates both the causes and effects of 9/11, that is, both why it happened and what it has done to the United States. It goes all the way back to Iran in the 1950s with Mossadegh, and the Middle Eastern intervention continued right up through 2001. After the tragedy, we invaded an Iraq that even Bush himself admitted had nothing to do with 9/11. U.S. militarism now extends to Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Libya as well, and that's just the short list of declared action. The endless wars have been accompanied by blatant disregard for and losses of civil liberties, many of which the populace begged for in its initial frantic response to the events of that day. Those that claim to or want to have an intellectual acumen will impartially read the whole of Dr. Paul's article and study the supporting evidence before coming to a conclusion. Anyone care to explain why he's wrong? Some in the crowd booed when he said, "This whole idea that the whole Muslim world is responsible for this, and they're attacking us because we're free and prosperous, that is just not true." So, the whole Muslim world is responsible for this? Of course that's ridiculous. What's left to boo? People don't really still believe the myth that they attack us because we're free, do they? That's an obsolete catchphrase supported by absolutely zero fact. It is well established at this point that insurgents, we called them freedom fighters during the Soviet-Afghan War, resist the United States because we occupy their lands and are seen as imperialists. We've been intervening in Middle Eastern affairs for over 60 years now. The CIA itself recognizes that this creates what's called blowback. This is not a matter of opinion. Ironically, Ron Paul himself receives some blowback because he has the courage to tell the truth even when it's unpopular. Dr. Paul was booed because he forces America to look in the mirror, and it doesn't always like what it sees. Paradigms and worldviews are challenged, and many times the truth hurts. But only by embracing that truth can we heal. As a moral people, we need to recognize when good policies are good and when bad policies are bad. America is exceptional. It is the most prosperous country in the history of the world, but it is not infallible. In fact, far from it. Ron Paul is the only candidate on that stage who's not afraid to call a spade, and we should be open to honest discussion about this issue from a brilliant man who has studied it in depth, not dismissive and closed-minded, as some of the crowd members at the debate were. There is a reason Ron Paul receives the greatest amount of military contributions. Those who have been there and seen it know what's really going on. Not only is it patriotic to face reality and question with boldness, it is decidedly unpatriotic not to.